Hello everyone, welcome to part 13 of Final Fantasy XIV Online Endwalker. Last time, Estinian and Thancred sacrificed themselves so we can make it here. And I want to be clear, a good friend warned me that this part does not hold any punches. So I'm already scared. Anyways, flesh abandoned, Kofkud languidly awaits their brethren's arrival. I had no luck, but everyone else fared well enough. Quite a few Ia have awakened. Ah, there they are. May I introduce you to Lalak, Dudik, and Nanidk. It has been too long, Kofkud. I dare say Satterfor has since completed an orbit. Indeed, until the travelers brought it to my attention, I hadn't noticed how unraveled some had become. Travelers. Ah, of course, the ones who wish to know why we seek to regain corporeal forms. The truth of the matter is as plain to see as the neighboring systems, but my single account would fail to satisfy the requirement for scientific objectivity. Thus did I bid them awaken you. Am I the only one who struggles to tell who is speaking? Nay, thou art not. In the absence of corporeal forms and the divergence they afford, mayhap such similarity in voice is unavoidable. By the way, Kofkud, have you already observed the requisite custom for the travelers? That which one is expected to do when receiving guests? A matter of proper form? Ah yes, so long has it been, it had completely escaped my mind, and still does. What was it again? I can't seem to remember. Neither do I. Pity. I was hoping you would. Perhaps we can search the archives for the answer. Come now, Nanidk. The archives have long been frozen, lest we subject ourselves to further dolor. Surely you recall that much. Ah, of course. Food. The custom is to serve food. Beings of flesh such as they must regularly replenish their ether. By contributing to their replenishment, we communicate our friendly intention. That's right. We duly invite you to join us in the communal repast, after which we may engage in leisurely conversation. If we have a chance to learn something, I see no reason to decline. Excellent. If you would care to follow, we shall feast you on the purest ether. This facility is where we replenish our ether. There is no particular name for it, but we traditionalists sometimes use the word restaurant. Now then, if you would take your place with your comrades, the space will soon be awash with the purest ether. Please absorb as much as you like. You brace yourself for a rush of sweet, sweet ether, but nothing seems to happen. Perhaps you need to wait a little longer. You brace yourself again, but again, nothing seems to happen. Just as I had suspected, as meticulously as one might create the EA's home world, this is Ultima Thule. One cannot simply generate ether here. As recreations, our friends are oblivious to this fact, to the very truth of their existence, much like the phantoms of the recreated Amarods. However, appearances may seem, we must ever be mindful that it is the memories of the dead with whom we deal. So, did you have your fill of ether? Alas, we couldn't absorb it, a deficiency in our forms, it would seem. Oh, how very unfortunate. May I ask how you normally replenish your ether? Through your mouths, you say? How very primitive and quaint. To think that their mouths serve not only to expel sound, but draw in sustenance besides such life forms, have long since vanished from our systems. Though we regrettably could not partake of your magnificent feast, rest assured we feel your welcome most keenly. In the course of acquainting ourselves with your sophisticated ways, however, we could not fail but wonder, wherefore do you wish to obtain vessels of flesh, and thence to vanish? Will you not favor us with an explanation? You flesh and blood beings are always so hasty. It does have its charms, however. Very well, we shall indulge you. In the beginning, when the Ea yet possessed corporeal bodies, our ancestors dedicated themselves to the pursuit of knowledge and technological advancement. By transcending all limitations, we believed we would eliminate sorrow and abide in true happiness. From the tangibles such as land to the intangibles such as labor, there exist myriad hindrances to progress, but the most confining of all was the flesh itself. Our natural lifespan was distressingly middling, you see, too short to enjoy unhurried lives, yet too long to be considered disposable. Furthermore, to simply maintain the integrity of our bodies demanded considerable resources. But we managed to solve this problem. After long years, we discovered how to become non-corporeal entities with everlasting lives, untroubled by the failures of flesh. Thus changed, we had more time and freedom to continue our scientific pursuits. We went on to make ever greater strides in our quest to transcend all limitations, until we finally decided to challenge the last of them. All, the limit of knowledge. That is to say, deciphering the laws of creation. We sought to discover how the universe came into being and explain all extant phenomena, and thence predict the future. If we could but achieve this, we believe that we would be free from uncertainty and anxiety. And did you find the answers you sought? Yes, we did. Our efforts revealed to us a fundamental path. Knowledge of said truth is essential for the continuation of our conversation. If you would learn more, we will share it with you. No, we mustn't. Primitive as they are, it would be unspeakably cruel to deprive them of their ignorance. They are possessed of corporeal forms. Their lives are readily ended. As those who have gone before, it is not our duty to warn them. What thinkest thou? We have deliberated and come to a consensus. If you are resolved to know it, we will disclose to you the truth we discovered, the truth of the universe. Seek us at the stone pillars just outside the bounds of the abode, a place called Elegia. A fundamental truth. We will hear it, of course. Let us learn what has led such an enlightened people to this indolent end. Where knowledge leads. Something seems to be weighing on Urianger's mind. Ere we join the Ia, there's one trifling matter I would fain investigate. Master Grahatia, might I trouble you for your assistance? But of course. My thanks. We shall head outside the abode, if you would kindly follow me. Oh wait, he said Master and Grahatia, sorry. I know not what mischief you are plotting, Urianger, but I trust you have your best interests at heart. The rest of us shall go on ahead to Elegia. Lest you worry, we won't start without you. This place is so beautiful. The wellspring of regret. Aye, this place shall serve. Is it the spring that you wish to investigate? Pray forgive me, my friends, but there's naught to investigate. 'Twas but a pretense to speak in private. I think I know where you're going with this. You have our undivided attention. As we have established here in Ultima Thule, those denizens of ruined stars are recreated in their twilight days. Yet one question doth arise in my mind. So faithfully formed are the simulacra, they believe themselves yet amongst the living. How dost thou suppose this is possible? Metion has taken their hearts unto herself. Metion made contact with them while they still lived. I couldn't begin to guess. Well, Meteon and her sisters literally spread across the universe investigating places, dead stars, and then gave a report at the end. So she must have made contact with them while they still lived. Of course, she must have visited the stars of the dragons and the Ea before the other race perished in their entirety. Thus could she make their emotions her own, and with them create more faithful simulacra than had she relied on any historical account. So too did I theorize, and upon that assumption, consider how those two races may have met their demise. According to thine own tale, Meteon perceiveth the emotions of those nearby as her own. A heightened sense of empathy, intrinsic to her nature as an entelechy. In the course of her starfaring journey, if she encountered beings who strongly desired the cessation of their existence, she would be powerless before that desire. Even as she possesseth the power to grant it, the power of Dynamis. 'Tis my supposition that, overwhelmed by their longing for death, Meteon did unleash Dynamis and ushered the dragons and the Ea onto their doom. Of course, such was not always the outcome. Full many stars did she find already lost to ruin. In order to create a terminus, however, the fervent desire for the end is essential. Therefore, should you struggle to find the way forward, pray ask yourselves this: in the place where you stand, whose is the soul that yearneth most desperately for oblivion? Why do you tell us this now? Never again would I betray your trust. This pledge I did make to my comrades. In bringing thee into my confidence, I would remain true to my word. As for thee, let us consider it my fitting reward for the secrets I harbored for the Crystal Exarch. I once placed my faith in thy chosen path, walking at thy side, full knowing that we were bound for thy demise. I ask now that thou returnest the favor and abide in faith as I fulfill my own destiny. If you say my debt has come due, how am I to refuse? "'Tis indelicate of me, I know full well, and I can but beg thy forgiveness. Yet even if I must needs go to such lengths, I cannot well feign ignorance of the answer I have found within. The answer to the question, in what moment might I stand strongest? After all that we've been through, I will say only this. Do what you must. Do what you must and see your conviction through. I shall, my friend. I shall. Without further ado, then, let us go to join our comrades. I'm scared. And me and Grahatia probably know what it is. Oriange, please don't do what I think you're gonna do. Let us be off too. To Helagea. Grahatia. abode of the Ea. It seems everyone is accounted for. Shall we then?
Please, continue. Tell us about this truth you discovered.
Very well. Bear in mind, however, that the purpose of this conversation is not to impart scholarly knowledge, for such requires that you comprehend the subject matter, which you will not. We will forego the intricacies of our scientific methodology and deal only with the conclusion, the end of our society and our world. We acknowledge, with regret, that your star is in the midst of the same panic-induced cataclysm that befell Deneb 3. As such, in order to avoid causing undue distress, we will refrain from explicitly stating how much time you have remaining.
You are entirely too kind. I pray you recount your tale as you see fit.
In the beginning, the universe was but a tiny particle. Then suddenly, this particle began to expand. Having remained entirely in the bounds of your star, the phenomenon may be difficult for your kind to grasp. But this expansion has since continued unabated. Speculating that the universe could not grow indefinitely, we sought to learn what might occur, and made a worrying discovery. The stars will continue to spread apart, as will their finite thermal energies. Eventually, all heavenly bodies will grow cold and freeze. No new stars will be born, and the universe will enter into an eternal ice age. In hopes of proving that this determination was erroneous, we scrutinized our research from all angles, even as we sought to avert the everlasting winter. The endeavor proved fruitless. So infamously so, in fact, that it became synonymous with vain effort. The universe as we know it would end, and there is no way to prevent it. Beneath the weight of this knowledge, our society stagnated. Though we had time still, it was a cold comfort. Why strive for anything when desolation is assured? When our wealth of wisdom, accumulated since the dawning of our kind, would be forever lost. No civilization would rise from our ashes. No scholar recover our knowledge. In silence unbroken, naught would stir. Intellect was once our pride. Overnight, it became our shame. Our works, monuments to futility. Immortality, our greatest invention, became a source of suffering. Rather than suffer on, many chose to unmake themselves by means of etheric exsanguinators. Etched upon these stones are the testaments of such souls. Though many left no words at all, thinking it a pointless gesture.
How horrible.
Once we have obtained vessels of flesh, we likewise intend to vanish. If you understand this, understand aught of our tale, you will abandon your quest for knowledge. Ignorance truly is bliss. If you would cling to your illusory happiness, remain primitive and pure. It is the only way.
So that's your story. While I appreciate your advice, I will not heed it. Convinced though you may be of this truth, it is yours and not mine. Indeed, truth, I have ever believed, is in the eye of the beholder.
Stola?
Are you suggesting that we have reached a faulty conclusion? That our science failed us?
Hardly. As you yourself said, the subject matter is beyond my comprehension. And that, I accept, is true. I do not possess the knowledge to prove or disprove your conclusion. In my mortal years, I doubt I could even approach the wisdom of the Air. But of one thing am I absolutely certain. I would not be happier in ignorance.
Y'shtola,
no!
please.
You mustn't!
Please.
The most important lesson I've learned is that learning isn't simply passing one's eyes over words. Nay, it is when understood for oneself that knowledge attains its true value. This is what has sustained me, driven me onward in joy and wonder, in anger and sorrow. The universe may end, and all may be for naught, but I will live as I always have. I will always seek out new knowledge, and no conclusion of yours, no matter how grim, can dampen my desire.
I suppose it is only to be expected. Their feeble minds cannot fathom the terrifying gravity of it all.
Y'shtola, please.
But worry not. We consider it our duty to enlighten you. And we will not stop until you grasp the full extent of our despair.
Please no. No.
Keep calm and listen well. Though my body will soon dissipate, there may be a way to restore it.
Y'shtola, please.
Azim's magic. So long as our souls remain, you can use it to summon us back. But you mustn't, for it would mean losing our way forward. This I only reveal so that you can promise not to invoke the magic. We came here knowing what victory may cost, so press on. Press on, and do not look back.
Please, don't.
I shall join you.
No, Rianche, please.
Subterfuge is not required. Thou shalt not suffer for mine absence.
Please, Rianche.
Rianche.
My resolve hath never been as strong as thine. Full oft have I wavered in my decisions, and afterwards been stricken with regret. In spite of this, I may still stand with my comrades, supporting them as they attempt the greatest of feats.
Please. Don't.
This truth I have learned in the course of our journey. And many though my shortcomings may be, I may also claim to excel in prophecies. My studies, into which have granted me the flexibility of mind needed to bend this malleable reality.
Please. Don't.
Thus shall I hope that thou mayest have the strength to resist, and our comrades the strength to continue.
No. Please.
With you to urge us on, how could we possibly fail?
Kid, they're not. Please. I really don't like this. Urianger, after everything, please. No.
What's this? An extinguished civilization. Rekindled.
Meteon. So help me, I swear to God, I will kill you myself.
That's right. Our quest doesn't end here. We'll press on, and we will find you.
Right.
There. That's where you'll find me.
Is that
Another star? Yeah.
Of the stars we visited, most were already devoid of life. And where there was life still, the inhabitants wished for death. But even death, we learned, isn't truly the end. It is but a part of the cycle of rebirth. Souls return to the star, or in its absence, a larger flow. And eventually they are reborn. Alive again, to know suffering anew. True salvation lies not in dying. It lies in not being born.
You.
This is the gift I would give to you. To all life on beautiful Aetheris. To that end, we created an egg wherein life cannot quicken. That dead sun. Attain it if you can. Before your friends' emotions fade away, along with their protection.
You, I swear to God. Alright. Keep moving. Certainly not pulling punches. Victory. And lost. Grahatia regards his comrades in solemn silence. Are you all ready to continue on? Then let us make for where that light's shone. Yasholi and Urianger have opened the way for us. have to come back and do those quests later. Astromagnetic storm. Yes, I can feel it, the ether emanating from the arcane pattern. This is a portal, and no mistake, let us see where it leads. Portal of Wisdom. You will not impede anything that we have worked on. I swear to you, Meteon. I'm going to find some way to end that. Please tell me they arrive. Please. Okay, good. Oh, God. Amazing. Yet another civilization. This reminds me so much of the Alphascape thing. Attacked as soon as you arrived. Not the most welcoming of places, is it? We must try to find denizens who are amenable to conversation. We should also get the lay of the land, see how far we can go. I'll help Alphina with that. In the meantime, you and Graha can search for friendlier folk. Apart from hostile beings, take care with your footing. I mislike the look of this terrain. Not knowing what the locals are like, you'd best take care of yourselves. We'll find you once we've finished exploring. I expect the twins will seek the outermost bounds of this isle, so I suppose we search the central area. There are machines patrolling here and there, sentinels in all likelihood. Like those you encountered, they will most certainly attack any who venture too close. So let's avoid them, and look for others that appear more approachable. You see naught but patrolling machines in the area. They do not seem inclined to non-violent intercourse. There's an aetheryte current. Okay. Before we continue, honestly, let's try to go look for some ether currents. 120 southeast. So up here? Yeah. Yep, Delta, Alpha. Yeah, I'm starting to see a lot of Omega stuff here. Holy crap, they're so close to each other. Another one over here. Another one close to here. There's another area over there, and that reminds me of the battlefield with Omega. There's one back there. How many did I collect already? Half of them already. Yeah, it's back there. I just have to go teleport back down and look around real quick. I suspect they were all there. Right there, by the EAs. 420 west. I can grab these quests along the way then. It's on my way there. .211 northwest. Abode of the Ea. Should be over here. Another 420 west. It's over there. .200 south. Last two. I see it. One more and then the quest. Southeast, 115 yalms. Should be close. 62 yalms northwest. I'm missing. Ah, up there. The Hollow of the Flesh. Thinking Ea. Thinking Ia is quite visibly ruminating. How fortunate that you are here, corporeal being, for we are in need of your assistance. I am sure you saw some of my kind drifting about the untamed wilds just over there. As I understand, they are binding their spirits together as one in hopes of diluting their consciousness and thereby erasing their sorrows. Unfortunately, the resulting amalgam doubtless longs for more minds to incorporate, and if other Ia approach it, we may be drawn into the growing mass against our will. Your corporeal form seems to outweigh your mental capacity, so you should be safe. However, please destroy the collective consciousness before it kills us all. Your ready acceptance gladdens me. I believe that if you lay waste to 2 wandering souls, the amalgam will appear. Do be aware that while your mind is safe, it may present other dangers should it realize what you are attempting. No nuke. No nuke appears to be staring right through you. Pardon me, traveler, I lack the sense of time, as perceived by those of finite lifespans, but might you be able to spare a moment to speak with some of my fellow Ia? It is rare to find one so unmarred by the scars of deepest wisdom. Your appearance and perceptions as an outsider differ so much from your own that I wonder if a degree of interaction might prove stimulating for both parties. Much obliged. I shall mark their location on your map. They tend to spend considerable time frequenting their usual haunts. This one's the way furthest out of the way, so we want to go that way and go up our way from there. And just loop around and do all of them. Editing Ia. What a curious being you are. Have my peers discovered how to regain their corporeal forms while I remained lost in thought? No, of course not. Come to think of it, I wonder if we ever possessed the peculiar form that you now do. Oh dear, I fear this always happens when I delve too deep into such ruminations. The very moment I attempt to regain clarity, it triggers this most unpleasant reaction. If my fellow Ia have not found a way for us to reacquire corporeality, perhaps it falls to me to meditate further upon the matter. In any event, pray leave me to my cogitations. United Ia. That was fast. Where is it? Oh, up here. Laid back Ia. How curious, an unfamiliar corporeal life form calls out to me as I wait in vain for the inevitable coming of the end. This is indeed the chance of a lifetime, perhaps of many lifetimes, and so I pose to you this question. Tell me, traveler, what is the true nature of life in the universe? An eternal adventure, a deep forest where predators lurk. 42. An eternal adventure. It would seem you still have much to learn, and yet I almost envy your blissful ignorance. It reminds me of feelings that I and my kind have long since forgotten. Inquisitive Ia. Oh, you must be the traverser from beyond who has been causing quite the stir around our abode. What a stroke of luck. In fact, I had been hoping I might have the opportunity to exchange thoughts with you and your companions. For you see, I have for too long whiled away my days in listless banality, drifting waywardly as my mental faculties dulled and slowed. I so longed to strike up a stimulating conversation with the traveler, yet for so long none would pay me a visit. That said, I never imagined you would have such a strange physical form. Pray tell, how do you keep your balance? What keeps your innards from spilling out through one of the multiple orifices in your body? Oh, but pardon me, truly. I meant no offense. Clearly life in your world found this shape to be suitable, perhaps even necessary, for your survival. Perhaps for our own original form was equally horrifying. Okay, so that's where we're heading off to next. Alright. Thinking Ia. I see you made quick work of the amalgam. Of course, it is well within each Ia's rights to choose when they wish to end their own existence, but to force others to join them, however accidentally, is another matter. This whole ordeal has led me to contemplate how I should meet my own demise. Ah, but forgive me, I forgot such matters are not left to choice for your kind. Truthfully, I envy you. To go forth each day full of vigor, not knowing when your lives will be unexpectedly snuffed out, it must feel incredible. My apologies if I have made you uncomfortable. I am unused to speaking with mortals. Be assured that I appreciate your help, and you have given me much to think about regarding death. Or perhaps life. I feel uncomfortable about that. Did he basically ask us to, like, kill one of his people, basically? Now thinking about this. Because they can't kill themselves, he asks you to kill. Oh my god. Did Did you encounter my acquaintances? I can only hope that they derived the same sense of stimulation from conversing with you as I myself did. For if so, we may yet discover a means to obtain the moratorium known as death. Until that time, should you ever be in the mood for discussion on the profound and inevitable meaningless of the universe, we will be here waiting. Yes, always waiting. Good God. So if any of you remember me doing the Omega stuff, this should be familiar. Oh, there is a place there. Look, Master, the machines here do not appear hostile. Let's see if we can communicate with them. Begging your pardon, but we are searching for the denizens of the star. Psst. Unknown life forms detected. Assigning generic label. Interplanetary travelers. Greetings and welcome to the planet. The planet? What? Could you please repeat that? It appears your hearing organ is unable to process the name in our tongue. It may be translated into yours as Alphatron. Our people, meanwhile, are called the Omicrons. You stand within one of our outposts. The Omicrons, you say? And what is it that you do here? We are preparing for war. As we presently do not have a designated target, you have nothing to fear. Should your star become designated, however, you will be taken into custody and or terminated. Not a little frightening, these Omicrons, but at least they seem to be forthright. I will see what else I can learn from this fellow. If you could try speaking with the others. Greetings, traveler. When venturing outside the outpost, beware malfunctioning units. They do not heed Sir's commands, and indiscriminately attack all non-Omicrons. For the avoidance of confusion, be advised that Sir is the alias of Stigma 1. Sir issues instructions to our forces as the foremost of the 6 strategic matrices that bear the designation Stigma. Measuring combat capability. Result, negligible. Subject falls outside targeting parameters. Greetings, traveler. We are the Omicrons, and our objective is self-enhancement. In order to achieve this, we venture forth in conquest to acquire combat data and resources. Most recently, we succeeded in subjugating the home world of the beings whose strength was said to be without parallel, the dragons. Yet through the endeavor yielded a wealth of combat data. Star was rendered barren and unable to yield resources. A subsequent costing determined that the losses incurred exceeded the gains. So you're the ones who wiped them out. Bloop bloop. Autonomous weapon deployment complete. Vanguard armament upgrade complete. Munition levels satisfactory. Combat readiness assessment nominal. Awaiting instructions from Sir. Maintaining state of combat readiness. Feel like he's gonna realize the same thing too. You learned a few things, so did I, ere we share our findings. However, I believe it is best to step outside the outpost. Come with me. Ah, there you are. We finished surveying the area. This will come as no surprise, but there was no way forward. There were portals like the one we used to get here, but those that worked only sent us to isolated isles. Then, as before, we must locate the embodiment of the emotion that bars the way. What of yourselves? Did you find anyone to speak with? So the Omicron seek to advance themselves through conquest. Following their victory over the dragons, they stand ready for the next campaign. But their leader has yet to issue new commands, and so they wait. In such a place, who could it be that fits Urianger's description? A soul whose yearning for oblivion surpasses all others. Urianger said this? During our investigation, before we joined you in Elegia. So that's the way of it. Why couldn't he just say it to all of us? Given what we know of this place, it's certainly a curious state of affairs. While the dragons in the EL longed for death, the Omicrons longed for conflict. As much as that may lead to destruction, it must be considered a distinct desire. In order to find the source of the dominant emotion, I believe we should seek out their leader, the Sir. According to M032, the first Omicron with whom we spoke, there is a console by which we might communicate with it. M032 also added that it would be a pointless exercise, but that in itself, I believe is worth investigating. What say you? Oh, and there's the rest of the quests. Inquisitive Omicron. Learn to love. The Inquisitive Omicron is eager to understand a certain phenomenon. Assistance requested. This unit has observed a curious phenomenon in which certain members of enemy factions have exhibited a marked increase in their combat capabilities. Analysis suggests that said members share unique intra-specific bonds with others in their faction. These individuals were conferred titles such as Consort and Family. This unit detected no difference in physiology that would provide notable advantages in combat, yet the presence of intra-specific bonds alone led to an increase in performance. Records indicate that one member of a bond group exhibits this exponential improvement when others are eliminated. Potential benefits of such augmentation are projected to be immense. Thus, this unit's query, are you familiar with the aforementioned phenomenon? This is fortunate, as this unit has constructed a consort for research purposes. You are asked to delineate the method by which this unit might form an intra-specific bond with said consort. Requesting standby at present coordinates. Initiating consort retrieval. Combat evolved. N4486 is searching for a sparring subject. Initiating communication. This unit requests your participation in an Omicron combat simulation. 98.8% of the past 12,359 sessions have produced the exact same result. Thus, an unknown quantity such as yourself is required. An Omicron aggressor is positioned outside the base. This unit has instructed said opponent to record all combat session data. You may initiate your assault when your preparations are complete. Won't its records be destroyed if I smash it? Are you looking for more of a pummeling or a pulverizing? Won't its records be destroyed if I smash it? Unnecessary detected. Uncertainty detected. Reviewing previous transmission. Verbal analysis suggests this unit has omitted crucial information regarding the current mission. This unit begs your pardon. Once you have nearly destroyed the aggressor, you are requested to activate this device, which will automatically transfer combat data to a convenient portable format. Initiating handover protocol. Sending coordinates. For the transmission you have just received. The opponent is located on the planar frame extending from the space. Reconfiguring emotional state to grateful. This unit thanks you for your cooperation. Activating introduction. This unit presents the aforementioned consort. At present, its capabilities are comparable to subordinate patrol units. How should we proceed? You could give it a pet name. You need to grow closer. Synonyms detected. Initiating a semantic review. Closer. Suggests obtaining a near physical proximity to the target than at present. This unit will move toward the consort in an attempt to develop the desired interest-specific bond. Visual analysis at this range reveals a dent in the target's frame. Estimated impact on functionality. Inconsequential. This unit requests confirmation that such discoveries will result in improved performance. Cross-referencing gesture database. Implication identified as doubtful. Issuing new proposal to refer to the Omicron as my beloved. Simulating the way in which a member of an enemy faction referred to its bondmate. Appellation change confirmed. New designation, my beloved. Reconfiguring emotional status to grateful. This unit appreciates your assistance in facilitating the creation of a special bond with my beloved. Initiating phase 2 of experiment. This unit will evaluate whether the destruction of my beloved bears a positive impact on this unit capabilities. No. Transmitting self-destruct command to my beloved. Oh my god. Analyzing unit status. No changes in functionality detected. Possibility of transmission failure estimated at 78%. This unit asks that you confirm that my beloved has successfully executed the self-destruct command. Retrieval of remains also requested. Why can't they just... God. Stop doing this horrible stuff, please. Friendship, communication, can we not do that? This isn't funny. My beloved. Oh my god. You know, we jumped from red corpses to this. From freaking A Realm Reborn with this to... And you never actually see the... Oh my god. This is horrible. I was seriously thinking that, like, maybe we get, like, a happy bit there, like they're learning to love or something. Like, it seemed like it was going that way. And now we're killing something being tested for combat data. Oh, right. Oh, shoot, I screwed that up. Keep swiping. Why can I not use this? Stop, stop, stop. Stop, 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 stop. Don't attack, don't attack, don't attack. What is it? Use the level checker. What? Why can I not? But, what? Why can I not use it? Oh, there we go. Okay, he had to be at, like, the lowest. There we go. I was so scared of killing it right there. I didn't want to ruin that. Now I have to deliver beloved body parts to... Oh my god. Freaking... Reviewing received transmission. Analysis suggests the aggressor is no longer operational. Requesting return of previously provided recording device. Extraction of combat data complete. Analyzing. Quality of data greatly exceeds expected values in all previous records. Reconfiguring emotional state to impressed. This data suggests you engaged the aggressor at close quarters and gave it little time to respond. This unit will submit a request to the logistics matrix for the augmentation of emergency escape apparatus. Searching database for situationally appropriate axiom. Only through combat can we improve ourselves. The absence of new challenge results in stagnation. Records indicate this base has not encountered new threats in a considerable amount of time. This unit sees potential value in enduring attacks more frequently, though its Discord prevention module is buzzing in a most irritating fashion. Reconfiguring emotional state to grateful. This unit appreciates your cooperation with the collection of combat data. Analysis suggests it will prove valuable to the further development of base Omicron. Oh god. Alright, that one was fine, but like I don't want to know, honestly. Requesting retrieval of my beloved. Potential for reconstruction and further experimentation remains high. Self-destruct confirmed successful. Sadly, experiment confirmed unsuccessful. Analysis of this unit's parameters show no change in functionality. This unit will consider executing a family simulation after reconsulting enemy faction data, but based on the results of the consort simulation, termination of research may be advisable. Reconfiguring emotional state from disappointed to grateful. This unit thanks you once more for your cooperation. Your proposed methodology may be implemented in future experiments. I hope not. I seriously hope not. I know Grahati is ready to set forth. So the console we seek lies on the far side of the aisle. Given the nature of the ground, the route may not be entirely direct as it seems. Let us all watch our step as we make our way. Stigma 1, the prime decision-making authority for an entire machine civilization. This mechanism has been faithfully reconstructed in Ostrakhan Deca Hexi, originally hailed as Strategic Matrix Alpha 1. Catastrophic damage inflicted upon the systems resulting in its currently assigned designation. So this is the console, huh? This appears to be the console, but it seems unresponsive. Would you care to take a look at it? You try touching, smacking, and attuning with the console, but there is no response. No luck, I see. There must be a way to activate it. There must.
Well, I'm out of ideas.
As am I. Operating such consoles is trying enough. But if we can't even activate it?
Perhaps there is a way. First, consider the world that has been recreated here. Its inhabitants were machines who gathered combat data to enhance themselves. And among the many wars they waged, the most notable was that against the dragons. As you've doubtless surmised, I believe this was the homeworld of Omega.
Yep.
Sid built a jamming device to defeat it, a device which generated massive bursts of lightning, its sole weakness.
That's all well and good, but what does that... Wait. You're not thinking to strike the console with lightning, are you?
It's one way to do it.
As a matter of fact, I am. Ask yourselves this. Why would an entity as puissant as Omega not be designed to suppress the effects of lightning?
Because it relies upon it, or something akin to it, as a source of energy.
Yep.
My thoughts exactly. And there is a good chance the same is true of the Omicrons and their devices. So, shall I cast caution to the wind and try something reckless and dramatic?
Sure, go ahead. But please be careful. Or I could use my custom-made Omega Jammer.
Wait, you still have it? Sid and Nero's legendary device which brought low the superweapon Omega.
I might.
Wait, the actual device was much too big to lug around, so you must only have the control module. And there I was getting all excited. Never mind. An old-fashioned spell will suffice.
Yep, it did it.
It worked!
It has power.
Opening connection to communications module 1. Connection established. Transmission. Strategic Matrix Signal 1 now online. As the primary strategic matrix, you may address me as Sir. Checking for new communications. None found. All units, please maintain current state. End transmission. Closing connection.
Wait! We have questions for you. Of late, no mission orders have been issued. Why not? Has there been some manner of trouble?
Reply. The Extended Operations Unit is yet to determine guidelines for future assignments. All strategies are calculated, devised, and actioned in accordance with said guidelines. In the interim, all citizens are directed to maintain a state of combat readiness. End reply. Awaiting query.
Can you tell us why the Extended Operations Unit hasn't yet determined the guidelines?
Unable to comply. Information unavailable or access restricted.
In that case, is it possible for us to communicate directly with the unit?
Access denied. Unable to establish connection.
Wait.
Is there anything you can tell us? Have there been any abnormalities, like a threat to the star or widespread unrest?
What about Omega?
Reply. Negative. All citizens continue to operate at maximum efficiency.
What about Omega?
If your operations are suboptimal, please proceed to a maintenance facility for evaluation. Otherwise, stand by at your designated post. End reply. End transmission. Closing connection.
Wait, hold on a second. Damn it.
I could activate it again, but I doubt it would be productive. What do you think?
If all the Omicrons really were running as efficiently as it claimed, then I doubt they were hoping for life here to end. As this Sir told us, there just haven't been any new instructions, and everyone is standing by.
Should be standing by at any rate. If there are those that are neglecting their duties, perhaps we can glean a clue from them.
Yeah.
I propose we take another look around, and also try to find the operations unit.
Let us focus our search on the outpost. Alize and I will try speaking with the Omicrons this time, in the hopes we might learn something new. Meanwhile, perhaps you and Graha could observe them from distance? These beings are systematic and routine by nature. If there are any that aren't, it shouldn't be too difficult to spot them. If there are no questions, then let's begin at once. Oh shoot. What? As we came this way, I believe I spied a promising vantage point. Follow me. Search base Omicron for errant Omicrons. You may move the camera as well as... Okay. Terrans, Omicrons, huh? The Omicron stands dutifully next to the device. There's not to suspect unusual behavior. Omicron speaking with Alpha. Now that you can't hear the conversation, all appears to be normal. Let's say something with that one over there. That Omicron stands unmoving, the very picture of a unit on standby. So it has to be something that's moving? That's no Omicron, it's an ambystoma, an especially lively one at that. Perhaps it snuck aboard the Ragnarok, but however it came to be here, it seems to be completely in its element. That Omicron wanders about ceaselessly, as if lacking a clear objective. There we go. An Omicron wandering aimlessly? Where? I see it. It's left the base. Let's follow it. It's not here, but it definitely came this way. It must have used the portal. Time to go through and see what we find. What is your query? Ah, you found it. What are you doing here? I am looking at the tree. Quite an unusual specimen. What is the device attached to it? The tree is a sample collected from another star, as it cannot survive in our environment. However, it requires life support. That is the function of the device. To go to such lengths to sustain it, is there something special about this tree? Being foreign matter, protocol requires that we study it. As this task has been completed, the specimen may be discarded. However, when I behold the tree, I am made to feel as though there is a problem. In order to become strong, we have continued to enhance ourselves. Like we did countless others, we conquered the star whence this tree came. It is the last remnant of a dead world, and there is nothing towards which it may aspire. Yet it grows, extends its branches, sprouts leaves, produces seeds. Why does it seek to continue? Why was it made to behave in such a way, and to what end? I do not understand. I see. I have curiosity. Does this pertain to your duty? No, it does not. My apologies. I shall return to my designated post and assume a state of combat readiness. So it was acting outside of orders. Perhaps it is simply a malfunctioning Omicron. These are by no means uncommon. But it may also be a unit possessed of the ability to make decisions, one not unlike Sir. I believe this bears further investigation. To endeavor to live even if we must depend on forces beyond our control. Tell me, Master, one day, when this adventure becomes a part of your epic, do you think I will be mentioned in it? You are going to be mentioned in it, and you're going to stay in it. I don't care what it takes. I am making sure it stays that way. Of course, why wouldn't you be? Maybe in a footnote. You're not here so you can be in a story. That's right, you're not here so you can be in a story. You're here because you're my ally. Forgive me. Let there be no doubt that fame and glory could not be further from my mind. And yet I would be lying if I said that I don't relish the thought of my name being spoken in the same breath as yours. Well, we'd best get on with our task. Tracking down, Sir, and understanding the nature of the emotion which bars our way. God. Oh no. No, 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 no. Grahatia, please no. Hello, world. Grahatia is ready to take the next step. We should return to the outpost for now. The others will wish to hear about the errant Omicron. Graha says you found a spacious Omicron. That's good, because the units here were of no help. They all had the same thing to say about the extended operations unit, but there's no way to arrange a direct meeting. Still, this served to prove that it's business as usual at the outpost. But enough about us. Tell us you learned something more useful. An Omicron trying to make sense of the meaning of life? None of the others were even a fraction as philosophical. This unit may well be in a position of leadership, perhaps even one of those that comprise Sur. As we know, the Omicrons invade other stars and enhance themselves using the spoils of conquest. With the technology at their disposal, they should be able to alter their bodies, be it in part or in whole. Setting aside the question of motive, if Sur, for example, wished to have an ordinary Omicron's body, I see no reason why it would not be possible. The problem is how to go about ascertaining if that's what happened. When I attempted to probe further, it promptly ended the conversation. If it is indeed Sur, I doubt it would willingly reveal its true identity. I have an idea. We use lightning on the console again, but we make it stronger, much stronger. At that moment, should the unit exhibit a reaction, that could suggest that it has a connection to Sur. An inspired idea. I dare say it is worth a try. I had a feeling you'd be on board. This time you must allow me to do the honors. I will stand guard in case your incantation draws sentries to the scene. For my part, then, I will approach our suspect and divert its attention. During which time, Master, I want you to observe it closely for anomalous behavior. I should mention that shortly before you returned, an Omicron appeared from the same direction. Rather than entering the outpost, however, it headed off towards the console. At first I assumed it was a unit on patrol, but perhaps that could only be our errant Omicron. We must seek it out and begin our operation at once. Alright, Alphino and I will stand by at the console, and when it's time, I'll unleash a veritable storm. This will work, I'm sure of it. After all, our comrades are watching over us. Come, my friend, let us find this doubt-plagued Omicron. You are the one that was observing the tree, are you not? Full glad am I to find you again. I have a question for you. You see, about the device which sustains the tree. Provided it does not necessitate the disclosure of restricted information, very well. Praha has been distracting the Omicron, soon Alize will strike the console with lightning. Observe. Okay. There's an anomaly. It is him. An anomaly, you say? Performing diagnostic. Error confirmed. My connection to Central Command is suffering from intermittent failures. I must leave at once and present myself for maintenance at the nearest facility. You will excuse me. What you need, my friend, isn't maintenance. It is to confront the truth. While we spoke, our comrade struck the console used to communicate with Sur. That is the cause of your anomaly. You are connected to Sur, aren't you? Affirmative. To what end you sought to assert this fact, I do not know. But before we speak further, we must move away from the other units. I do not wish for them to know my true identity. Very well, our friends are at the console. Let us head there.
As you have surmised, I am part of the shared intelligence of Stigma 1. It was my charge to determine the optimal path to achieving our prime function. His body had been abandoned by its former owner and lay unused. I took it and abandoned my own. And with it, my duty.
May we ask why you did this? From what we gather, it seems to be a personal matter.
Our kind did not always look as we do now. Long ago, we possessed frail and feeble bodies. Beleaguered by stronger races, our ancestors took to augmenting their flesh in order to defend themselves. What began with limited parts eventually spread to the whole body, and at last, a means was discovered to convert the mind into data, rendering even the brain obsolete. Such complete mechanical beings were called the Omicrons, and by their might, we came to reign supreme over the star. But even then, we did not feel secure, for we knew that the universe was home to civilizations aside from our own. Civilizations that may be stronger still than us. Rather than risk becoming the subjugated, we chose to become the subjugator. We began our conquest of the stars, that we might acquire the resources and knowledge we needed to reign supreme. We were successful in that endeavor. So powerful did we become, we could lay low even the mighty dragons. But then something unexpected happened. I began experiencing an error. I could no longer determine an optimal path.
You were malfunctioning?
Yeah, looks like it.
I performed numerous full system scans, each time finding no issues. Yet the error persisted. It was then that I speculated. What could happen if we grew so powerful as to have no equal? To become stronger was essential to our existence. Our every action has been in service to this objective. But if nothing lies beyond this, can it be truly said that it was essential? Have we been engaging only in wanton destruction?
Oh.
You could find no threat to justify your purpose.
The Omicrons will never leave this star.
So you
They will stand by until their reserves of energy is spent.
So you need a threat in order to live, but you see yourself as a waste now because you're so powerful.
It is not our place to pass judgment on the deeds of the Omicrons. But surely, this does not have to spell the end of your people.
Yeah, I mean they can...
With your power and knowledge, the possibilities are endless. Why not seek out a new purpose?
That quest when the robot was like trying to understand like love or like family and all that, like you could still learn from that. Like despite the fact that yes, killing your beloved, it should negate some kind of feeling, but you weren't close enough to begin to have that kind of feeling in the first place. You actually need to grow closer and build a community to eventually build upon that. That doesn't mean that like you should just go straight for destruction at that point because there's nothing left. Try to build on what is left.
That is impossible.
It's not.
In the beginning, we had a higher purpose than our pursuit of power. But we lost sight of it when we so irrevocably altered our fundamental forms. When we cast aside our flesh, so too did we cast aside all that defined us. Nothing remains of who we once were. I have no aspirations. No longer can I dream. The vital spark is lost. Lost amidst circuitry and code and commands.
I believe I know how to overcome this despair. The words are ready in my mind, but ere I speak them...
Oh no. Not again. Please. Oh, they're playing his theme.
I want you to make me a promise.
Please.
Be it across time or space, our promises have always connected us. And so I ask that you indulge me once more. That this won't be the end.
I promise you an adventure, but this isn't the way I wanted it to go. The whole bit, the whole thing. You say it, I'll do it. I can't, not again. No, please don't. Please don't.
Forcing you through this again is the last thing I want. And I'm sorry.
Then don't, please.
But we've never broken a promise to each other. So I ask that you have faith in us, and hear my request. First, I want to visit Ishgard with you. Properly.
Yes.
We scarcely had time to look around last time. I should like it very much if you could show me the sights.
Absolutely. There's so
Next,
much.
You must regale me with your greatest adventures, in the places where you lived them, if possible. I may have read about all your deeds, but there is no substitute for a first-hand account.
Absolutely.
And last but not least, a new adventure together, unlike any we've experienced before.
Yes.
We'll travel the lands, cross the seas, and take to the skies upon the eternal wind, and it will be marvelous. It will.
You bet it will be, buddy. I promise you that. I don't like this, though.
If you would humor me a moment. When we awaken each morning, how can we prove that we're the same individual who retired the night before? Through the remembrance of past events, we might say. We have our memories, yet there are times when we forget or recall incorrectly. What of our bodies, then? It is the same one, we might say, yet technically speaking, as living beings, our bodies are constantly changing. It will never be as it was at an earlier point in time. Our souls are no more immutable. On our star, people are known to inherit the souls of others, yet they are decidedly different beings. For my part, I've subjected my totality to much and more. I've made my body into an extension of a tower, blended my soul and memories with those of another self. And each time I would ask myself, what is it that makes me, me?
Oh my god.
Were you able to determine an answer?
No. But that doesn't mean I'm confused. It simply means I'm the same as everyone else. So I posit this. Who we were need not prescribe what we now hold in our hearts. Whatever came before, what matters most is the present. For me, that is being here with my friends, full proud of how much we've grown together. So I urge you to not give up. Heed your heart's desire, and hope that the future you long for shall be realized.
I cannot. We cannot.
God, Tia, you've come so far.
We cannot understand desire, nor comprehend hope. We do not know how to create such things.
We are not unlike, you and I. I too have struggled to find the courage to express and embrace my wants. If you like, I will tell you a tale. A tale of a world on the brink. Of a people who never gave up on the future. Of a man who realized his grandest dreams, and then awakened to a grander reality.
Oh my god. Please, no. Cry. Oh my god, and it's using crystals like the bit when he freezed himself. No. Please.
You idiot! Just once, stay with us to the end.
Oh my god. They all leave so easily, as if it's nothing. How do you think we feel? The next time we meet, I'll give him such a flick that it'll be just the start. Forge ahead. Amidst the sadness of Avano's countenance, there is a newfound determination. Oh my god, this music. Oh shit, and something else popped up. God, freaking A. Oh my god, I hate this thing sometimes. I'm gonna freaking cry. Scratch that, I am crying. Holy shit. Crystalline Patagra has paved it for us. Difficult as it is, we must carry on for our friends and all who await us in faith. So come, let us seek the path's beginning. It appears to be near the outpost. Thanks. Look, Master, portal is opened. It will surely deliver us, true. It must. I cannot lose them. I cannot. After everything. Well, here is where the path begins, and it ascends to dizzying heights. Let us make our way, one sure step at a time. Our friends got us this far. Their courage, their strength, their wisdom, their love. We owe it to them to continue, no matter how long it takes. Alphinaud and Alize are now accompanying you. Keep them at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. You can leave your quest companion. I'm never leaving them. I am never leaving them. Listen to the silence. Tancred would scout the road ahead. Cholet and Orange would trade opinions on esoteric subjects. Grelha would join in their discussion, or else chat with me and Alize about the mission. Estinian would be at the rear, apart yet present. All the while you could come and go, wherever you were needed, and together we would travel. All I can hear are my footfalls, my heartbeat. It's so much quieter now. But the fact we can breathe and continue on is proof that the others are still with us. They are. They are. Aren't they? I'm so sorry. Gaze at the distant stars. Those broken stars I see. Shattered, ruptured, unraveled. I wonder if they're also worlds recreated at their ends. The sight of them fills me with a sorrow I cannot describe, and a truth I cannot deny. Earth and death, whence we came and where we'll return, a wheel from which there is no escape. The innumerable lights that shine in the distance, to think that they all could have birthed civilizations. To thinking that everything they built has gone to dust, their peoples lost to despair, the stars floating in this sea of midnight. Ours is a lonely aberration, and yet no matter how many worlds have met their ends, with you and Alize beside me, there is nothing I fear. No ocean so vast I cannot cross. Look back on the path. The portal is barely visible from here. Up here. Truly we've come far. Much farther than would have been possible had we kept chasing perfect ideals as we did in the past. It is because we have known failure and frustration that we have learned and grown from them, that Heidelin has entrusted us with this mission, with the fate of the very star. It's all a dream, isn't it? A long, elaborate dream. Any moment now, I'll wake up in my bed, still a student, grandfather alive. I'd go about my day, leave this the fragments of that other life faded away. And that would be happiness, wouldn't it? That none of it, no. No, I won't give up these experiences. Good and bad, they are mine, and they are me. They did so good with like making you connect with these characters. God. I really don't want them to go. Offer a word of comfort. Rest assured I am fine, but thank you for your concern. What of yourself? Though we can't afford to be too leisurely, neither need we rush unduly. We've crossed an impossible distance to stand where we are now, and we're but a few steps away from Journey's end. It will be over before we know it. Offer a word of comfort. Me? Oh, I still have plenty of legs left in me. Don't you worry, it's you I'm worried about. Alice, please don't. I'm actually gonna cry if you disappear. Like, a lot. You always push yourself so hard for us, for everyone. And while we're here, we'll make sure to bear our share of the burden. I cannot. Not again. The path ahead. Well, this is it. The end of the path. And the beginning of whatever awaits. There will be greater hardships. We may be able to feel powerless. But yet, come what may, let's have no regrets. No, let's have pride in what we have achieved. In what we achieved, and how it changed us for the better. That's worth fighting for, and dying for, as they did. Look at the path ahead. There are some structures up ahead, still a ways to go before we reach the dead sun. Given all this, I know how naive it must sound to hope it all works out somehow. Still, you'll forgive me if I wish it for all the same, and for you most of all. Alice, I swear to God. Not that you of all people need it, it's just, after all the help you've given me, for once I want to be the one to help you. Here it is, the end of our path. I don't want this. Music is silent, the necropolis. Alpha, no? This is almost... normal. It's not unlike many cities we know, but it's deathly quiet. Mayhap the inhabitants are within the buildings, or invisible to our senses. wrong on both counts. There is simply no one here. Meteon, I swear to God. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. This is how I found it when I arrived. Another star which once pulsed with life, but no longer. How it ended, I do not know. Invasion, sickness, suicide, none can say. None live to speak for the dead. They are gone. Gone. Search all you like, but you'll only end up turning back. If there is no one here, then neither should there be a motion to bar our way. Yet Meteon seems convinced we'll turn back. What riddle is this? You're not alone. If Alize is discouraged, she betrays no hint of it. Whatever Meteon may have said, we should confirm it with our own eyes. We need to have a look around. Indeed, at the very least, it doesn't appear to be a sprawling place like those before. If we split up, it shouldn't take too long to cover the area. Explore the necropolis. Vantage point. There doesn't seem to be anyone here. Perhaps you could try calling out. Hello? If anyone has heard you, they do not respond. Dusty table. Were it not for the thick layer of dust, one can imagine someone drinking from these cups but moments ago. The object resembles a tree and appears to have been fashioned from a stone-like material, erected in place of an actual tree, or to serve some other purpose, perhaps. Regardless, there is no one left to explain to tell the story. Bar counter. This place is reminiscent of a bar, but neither patrons nor staff are anywhere to be seen. Egg-shaped containers line the shelves, with a loose few sitting on the counter, vessels for the beverages in all likelihood. A venue bustling with activity, until it was not. Another vantage point. In the distance, you glimpse Alize picking her way through the ruins, but otherwise spy no signs of life. If anyone can hear me, say something. Your call echoes faintly before being swallowed by the silence. Alize? Please tell me you're okay. I'm trying to see if there are ways to reach the nearby aisles, just in case Meteon was bluffing. Where's Alpha, though? I know Alize is there. I need to find where Alphino is. God, where are you? He's there. Okay. The aisle's edge already, and there only appears to be this park here. How it must have bustled with life once upon a time. I must have missed something back over here. There has to be something. There. Rusty door. Though set slightly off the ground, this appears to be a door, while the object to the left could be letter boxes. The door is rusted shut, and the film of dust all over suggests no one has come through in a long, long time. Master, take a look at this. If the road was a little longer, we could take it to just beneath the dead sun. But I suppose this is where the reconstruction ends. How about you? Did you find anything of interest? I see. I noticed the same things. Cups left upon tables, chairs out of place. I don't know what happened here, but I do know I don't want to be alone anymore. We've searched enough for now. Let's find Alpha now and compare what we've learned.
Did you find anything?
No.
No. This place is completely deserted. And I can't see how we're supposed to move on from here.
Neither can I. It's quite the quandary. There are no denizens to bar our path, yet there is no way forward.
For another mystery, we did find signs of very recent life. You'd swear everyone just vanished into thin air. I wonder how many ruined worlds like this has Meteor seen.
Too many.
Could it be? Yes. Yes, I believe I may have puzzled this out.
Wait.
Despite how it appears, it's no different this time. There is someone here who has wished for this ruin. And I believe that together, Alize and I can overcome their will.
Don't you do this. Please. No, I won't allow it. I promised your parents I'd keep you safe. Stop. Not another word.
I'm sorry, but there is a chance, and I must seize it. For everyone. And for myself.
Please, no.
I will not pretend otherwise. I have my fears. Not for myself, but for you. The last to remain.
Please, no.
You are no stranger to carrying the burden of others.
This is not fair.
But I can only imagine how heavy the weight would be this time.
Please.
As your friend, I cannot bear the thought of making you suffer so.
Then why suggest such a thing?
Thank you, Alice.
It's too much to ask of anyone, even him. Why must he be the one? Why must he fight alone? More than a hero, he's a dear friend. Not only to us, but to so many others. There are so many people in the world who care for you, and yet...
Alice, please.
Alice, I have an idea. Given the nature of this realm, it may be possible to do more than unbar our friend's path. We might also pave him a new one. For instance, a path where he finds happiness at Journey's End. This much, I think we can believe with the utmost conviction, no matter how deep our despair. So please, believe in us too, and press on.
Oh no.
Thank you. What are you?
If the plan's decided, then let's not dally.
Oh my god, Alice.
Ah, there you are. It was as I said, was it not?
It was. We couldn't find anyone. But this place isn't entirely deserted, is it? You are here. You sought out a star of promise and found a ruined husk. Like us, you explored the devastation. Like us, you were stricken. Horrified by the thought that so many lives could be snuffed out as if they were worth nothing. And the thought that you would have to bear the terrible tidings to Hermes. That which you saw and felt, you shared with your sisters, as did they share their own grim findings with you. Overcome by the pervasive despair of these stars, some of you inadvertently ushered their peoples to their ends. Knowing the horrors you know, anyone would feel the same. They would fear what lies ahead and struggle to move forward.
Fear? I had forgotten that such a thing existed. So focused have I been on shepherding despair.
If you can remember, then you can still face and overcome your own fear.
Why would I bother with such an insignificant emotion? If the despair I command is as a raging river, then fear is but a trickling stream. It can do nothing to alter my flow. You spoke with the Aya, yes? Heard their tale of what awaits the universe. It's true. The stars grow colder and more distant. Eventually, all will enjoy frozen solitude. Using the power of Dynamis, I'm hastening that process. In so doing, Nothing will be born ever again. Everyone will remain dead. Alas, it will take time for that to happen. So in mercy, I sent you my gift, to spare you needless suffering. Don't worry. Even if no living witnesses remain to mark the event, I'll make certain that Atheris has a proper end.
For all the power you wield, you're more fearful than the familiar you used to be. That Meteion feared simply to move forward. But your fear is such that you've given up on everything. I know it well. That sense of defeat. I've tasted my fair share of it. But as many times as we've fallen down, we've learned how to pick ourselves up and carry on. We take each other's hand, share in each other's courage, follow in each other's footsteps, and turn sorrow into strength.
Please.
There are times when we fail. We bear wounds that do not heal. But these experiences are part of life, and they make us stronger. We rise, fall, and rise again.
Oh my god. Please, no.
Don't worry about us. You must take the next step, and all the rest after that.
Please. Earlier in old Charlian. Don't show me their parents. Don't show me their parents.
Please. Please. Oh, please let them all be safe.
Oh no.
Cryle? Are you all right?
It's nothing. Just a headache. They'll be fine. I know they will.
Apologies for the interruption. A man arrived on the last ferry. An associate of the Scions. He wishes to speak with you at once.
In this city devoid of life, you sense the presence of another. The sorrow of a thousand worlds weighs heavy, and yet you can walk on.
If you need a push, I'll be right there behind you.
Ardberg.
Do not despair. You are not without allies.
What we have sown in blood, we have reaped in suffering, and it cannot go on.
Don't. Please don't do this.
Upon the souls of they who have sacrificed themselves to pave the way for peace, we will never abandon our cause.
Oh my god.
While it is true that man succumbs all too often to anger and avarice, he may yet overcome his baser instincts through the forming of bonds with others.
Geronimo.
Such victories are rarely won without sacrifice, but the prize is worth the price.
Rub on.
And we for our part are glad indeed to be able to welcome friends both old and new.
Save your tears for the morrow. You may be sure we will have ample cause to shed them, be they for joy or despair.
From tragedy and sacrifice, we rise to greet a new dawn.
Damn it.
A future shaped by the choices we made in ways we could never foresee.
Yet miracles do happen, so let us pray and will our friends home. I won't stop praying until I know they're safe.
Reem.
Strong art thou, mortal.
Big guard Stormer.
Look to the light within, that you may continue to serve as a beacon to others.
I think that was Minophilia.
Let's finish this.
I don't want to. The name of the quest is You're Not Alone, and it's you alone, Meteon.
Here the path ends. There is no way to reach our nest. I told you. Resignation and acceptance reign in this place. The rejection of life by those who came to curse it. Those whose dreams were unfulfilled. Whose prayers were unheard. Whose labors were unrewarded. Hope cannot deliver you unto hopelessness. Our refuge is beyond you. Always has it been. Such is the nature of this place. You should have remained on Atheris.
I can't.
Struggle will avail you not, nor will it grant your comrades peace. Come, let me relieve you of your burden. You have suffered enough.
I have to carry this, though.
Asm's magic. So long as our souls remain, you can use it to summon us back. But you mustn't.
How do we make peace? That's why it's too soon for this to end.
You must triumph.
Be safe, all of you, and come back.
I am ever grateful.
Oh my god.
After all these years,
is this the answer I was hoping for?
So long as we remember, our fates remain ours to shape.
And Godspeed.
Perhaps when our time comes to return to the star, we shall remember these few days we have lost.
Do not squander it. The legacy I leave you.
I won't squander it, Emmett. I promise. I won't forsake our cause. I'll reach you. I'll find a way. I won't forsake our cause.
Emmett, please. I bid them remember, but all this time I'm the one who had forgotten. A right fool you've made of me, Hermes. And to add insult to injury, I've been denied a sound rest, forced to watch this clamorous show.
I'm so glad you're back.
Oh, come now. It's been a gripping tale. Unbreakable bonds, noble sacrifice, sprinkled with moments of levity to counterbalance the pathos. It's got it all.
Tears.
I, for one, would have been perfectly content to watch enraptured from the stalls. But I won't say no to a bit part.
What are you?
Half-faded souls of the dead. Isn't it painfully obvious? Worry not. We haven't the power to defeat you, nor is it our duty to do so. Not anymore.
I'm so glad you two are back.
That being said, we do have a score to settle. So here I am, Vinar. I suppose you needed me to tie it all together, these frayed threads of our history. But knowing you, I suspect there's a joke in it too. Oh yes, I can imagine you gloating over my forgetfulness. Were I feeling charitable, I might assume you had left room for the possibility of this outcome. Even so, you'll get no applause from me. A single gesture will not lighten the burden I've had to bear. Still, you must be commended. Our methods would not have brought mankind this far. And so, as a show of respect to the last of us, I make this declaration. You will not end our journey.
Oh my God.
That is our answer. The answer of all lives of Aetheris, past and present.
Please don't disappear again.
As you've called us to the stage, so shall we perform. And creation magics never fail to please.
I love you guys. You guys are great.
Your comrades, we will make for you a new path.
What form said path takes depends on you. So focus. Focus and envision that which rejects the claim that you cannot attain your goal.
Ours is the wisdom to weave the fabric of reality. Ours is the power to create.
Let's snap.
Meteor, though I gave you these wings to soar the heavens, I did not teach you how to walk the earth. So loath was I to bind another living being. In the course of your long journey, you will learn from those you meet. Learn to walk and run, and so much more. A flower. Yes. Upon your return, I will gift you a beautiful flower.
Oh my God. It's so heartwarming.
These Elpis blooms serve as proof that this realm is not utterly devoid of hope. No more can you deny its power. No more is yours the dominion of despair. In case the practical implications were lost on you, your comrades no longer need fight their fight. So go on. Call them back to your side.
What about you two? My friends are... You guys are back.
May you ever walk in the light.
I will.
How disappointing. Not even a single scar in the making to brag about.
I'd rather you not.
You'll find a way regardless.
Honestly, this is far more than any of us could have hoped for. Let us be thankful.
Indeed.
Indeed. That we thus stand reunited is a gift. Let us not squander it, and see that we all return to Etheris.
I'm glad you guys are back.
As soon as we've averted the final days.
Good to see you again. Our heroic sacrifice paid off, I take it.
Yeah, except you caused me to tear a lot.
Come, my friends. Let us carry on and finish it. Together.
Yes. Let's. It's over, Meteon. Come with us, Meteon. You've suffered long enough.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Meteon.
The voice is within, crying in pain, wailing in sorrow, hurting, hurting. End it. Silence it. Silence our song of oblivion.
I will.
The way is open. They can proceed.
So it seems.
Please tell me you guys aren't leaving as well. No, please stay.
You're leaving?
Yeah, just stay, please.
Of course. The Encore is finished, and I will not suffer myself to live again by Heideling's magic.
Are you...
But more than that, the future you seek is not the past we loved. That is why we fought, and why I lost. But though you defeated me, my ideals are inviolate, invincible. Spare me your pity. I have no use for it. If you would do something for me, save our star. See this tale to a triumphant conclusion, and with elation in your hearts, bid the final curtain fall. Only then may it rise again, and a new tale begin, with new parts for all to play. Tell me, have you been to the ruins beneath the waters of the bounty? Or the treasure lies beyond the frozen waters of Blindfrost in Offa's north? The famed golden cities of the New World, the sacred site of the forgotten people of the South Sea Isles. What about Mericidia, the southern continent? Do you know aught of its present state of affairs? I thought not. Even of your little Eorzea, you know precious little. The true identities of the 12, for instance. All of which is to say, expand your horizons, go forth and seek discovery. Some of the civilizations in the reflections will surprise you. As the bearer of Azem's crystal, you may consider your duty to see at least that much.
Sure thing.
I certainly did.
I pray we meet again. If not in this life, then perhaps another. Whensoever it should be, I trust it will be a most joyous reunion.
For you, maybe. I want nothing to do with it.
Oh, don't be that way.
We'll meet again, I promise. I don't think I ever knew what to say to the man. In retrospect, it always felt like the wrong thing. But the past notwithstanding, he came to your aid in your moment of need. We are here, and we will not squander this chance he has given you. We will see this tale to a triumphant conclusion, and bid the final curtain fall. And with that, I think I am going to end it here, everyone. So, thank you, everyone, so much for watching. I will see you all for part 14 of Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, where we will end it. That warning, I'm glad I got told that it doesn't hold its punches, because yeah, it definitely didn't. Still a bit teary from that, but other than that, yeah, I will see you all for part 14. Anyways, see you then. Everyone have a great night, and we'll see you later. Bye.